What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Klepcx FM, brought to you by WeAreCritiX.com, place where we talk about movies, television, and pop culture. And if y'all into that kind of thing, make sure you hit that subscribe key and that notification bell so y'all can be up to speed about everything that I talk about here. Now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, y'all know what time it is. Today, another episode of Peacock's Bel-Air. Oh, man. This is where it starts to get juicy, y'all. I tried to tell y'all that 7 was going to be a special episode. Payback's a bitch. And that's what they're calling this episode. But of course, in good fashion, I had to bring my homie out here because he and I, we love to talk about this stuff with you all. So without further ado, I got to bring my man Gene in the building. What's up, brother? What's up?
Sir.
What's going on?
Hey, listen, man. You said it. I was like, we gonna see, but boy, when 7 hit, it's different now. That's all I'm gonna say. I can't wait to get into it, man. It's different. Shout out to my boy Carlton, by the way. Shout out to Carlton. I'm getting it out the way right now. Shout out to Carlton. I've been on him. I was on him heavy last week about how I didn't like. Shout out to my boy Carlton. He did what he had to do this week.
I told you he was gonna he got me feeling real good about some things. You know what I mean? Like I feel like the character is finally kind of going into a good place, not just in the show, but with me personally. So I'm excited, super excited to talk more about what's going on with Carlton in this series. But let me ask you your opinion off rip overall, because like I said, you've seen them all. You've seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I told you 6 was where it starts to kind of pull back together, and now we've seen 7. Where are you at as far as episode 7 right now? Where does it put you overall for this season, this series?
So I still think I got 3 as my top, but I think that 7, because I was higher on 6 than many people were. A lot of people were like 1, 2, 3, or in some kind of order. 1, 2, 3 was what they like. I think 3 and then 7, because now it's starting to hit my center, like where I'm at. Like I was really down on Carlton's character. It's different when you're talking about the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and this is a comedy, right? And Carlton is kind of like the hokey, cornball, white boyish type of character. It's another thing when you really feel like they wrote in a guy who was a sellout, you know. And so now when you see him really come back to his own and step into who he is, and really start to kind of embrace who he is, and not just be the pin cushion for these dudes. Like I really fucks with that. Like I think that's big because that's what we need to see in the culture. It's not just okay for you to acquiesce to what another culture or another people say just because you want to fit in or you're afraid of what people might think of you. You got to remember who you are as a person first. And so that's something I really vibe with here. And I think Will's in an interesting spot as well, because you can start to see now he's a linchpin in a lot of the things that's going on. And if that pin gets pulled the wrong way, a lot of those cars can tumble down. So it's a lot of levels to this thing. I also like what they're doing with Jazz. I really like the way they playing Jazz in this.
We're gonna get into we'll get into Jazz because I don't know yet, but let's start off from the very, very beginning of this episode where Phil he's on the fence with me. Like I'm on the fence with Phil, man. And like 1 minute he's like great dad, great role model for Will, great father figure for Carlton, awesome, daddy's little girl dynamic between him and Hillary. But this guy is kind of shady sometimes. He seems very, very selfish. And you know what I'm talking about, the particular scene in the beginning between him and Will when he's talking about, him and Lisa's dad are kind of orchestrating some way to kind of keep each other's distance keep Will and Lisa away from each other for the campaign. And I didn't like that because I feel like I could expect that from Lisa's character, but I can't. I don't understand it with Phil's character. Is he a snake or is he not in your eyes?
See, I don't think he's a snake. I think that we talk about it in politics all the time. Nobody gets to that level clean, right?
Yeah, you did say that.
When we're talking about politics, nobody gets to that level clean.
You did say that.
He's doing what he needs to do in order to get to the point where he can help people. And to him, what he's doing and what he's telling Will about Lisa is a necessary evil. It's a necessary evil. Like, how do I get to this point where I can help people and I can be what they need me to be if I get caught up and I'm not able to get this appointment because I had beef with this dude, and his daughter found out some stuff that she didn't need to know that derailed the campaign. So I think he's telling Will to be careful, and maybe you need to step back a little bit for the greater good of what we're trying to do here as a family, but what I'm trying to do outside just for the culture.
I hear that. I do hear that. But he also says in the same sentence that she means a lot to us in this family. You get what I mean? So if she means a lot, then he should, I don't know, I just feel like he should expect a little bit more or something better from her. To me, it just seems like Phil is the type of guy that just loves to control the narrative. Because there's some more things that we're going to talk about in this. So you know what I'm talking about Phil and him trying to control situations and not letting everybody kind of be in on what's going on with him. But after we see this little brief opening, which I thought was pretty cool, was a good way to get me engaged because I'm like, oh, this is getting interesting. Like, we get this awkward introduction to the whole Lisa Will situation. And I say awkward because they never allude to them actually becoming a relationship until this episode. It's like, episode 6 was like, we had one idea of what was going on. They literally were he helped her out with the speech. And then all of a sudden, episode 7, bam, they're like full blown in a relationship. Making out, being sneaky.
It begs the question, how much time, right?
Yes.
It begs the question, how much time between the end of episode 6 and the beginning of 7? Was episode 6 the beginning of the relationship because she said, yo, this dude is a stand-up dude. I need this dude in my life. The heck with being friends. Was that the point where Will said, hey, you know what? I can no longer worry about what it might be. I need this girl in my life. We're going to be more than friends. Like, and then if that's the case, how long? Because they were kissing almost the first night they met. They was already kissing. So,
but in all fairness, like episode 6 doesn't even like so much as close with like a glimpse of them catching eye contact or anything. My man Kevin is saying it was the next day because of Hillary, which I agree because of Hillary's storyline, and we're gonna get into that in a second. But like, I just feel like it was just out of nowhere. Like they're doing so much hopping around, and we can't lie. Like it's getting better. The overall meat of the story is getting better, but there's still these little moments where it's just like shit is just kind of just getting thrown at us, and we're just supposed to accept it. Like I kind of was like, when? Because they were like really on each other. Like it wasn't like, oh, let's flirt a little bit. Our first kiss. No, these guys, they were going at it like they've been going at it for a minute behind everybody's back.
So everything is sped up in a drama, right?
Yeah. Well, in this drama.
So just think about us.
Okay.
And in our relationships and how fast things can escalate in our relationships, where you could be booed up with somebody in a matter of a couple dates. So now we're talking about if we're looking from the beginning, first episode, they're kissing.
Okay.
To now where they are and where they're going, like that seems pretty natural to me for high school relationships. especially in high school relationships where you're living like rich people are living.
Okay, so let's scratch real life. Are you having a little bit of it? Are you having any issues with the pacing? I am, but I'm willing to turn
compared to 90210.
Oh man,
I know we're dating ourselves, right? But compared to 90210,
that's a different kind of writing though back then.
But look at how fast that everything progressed. We're talking about the situation, the way it happens now in the hyper chamber of high school life in 2022. Like, you know what I do for a living. So I see this on a regular basis. It's not too far away from what you would see in real life. Now, I'm with you. I think the overall pacing of the entire show could use a dial back, but they're already down this road now.
Yeah, we're almost done. We're almost done with the road. And Kev, man, you should have got that number, bro. You shouldn't even be sending that message unless you got that number.
The number should be there, Kev. What's going on?
Okay. All right. So moving on from it is what it is. Will and Lisa are now a thing, and it works as the episode is going. You know what I mean? It was just a little sidetrack. It caught me off guard in the beginning, but as the episode went, it started to make a little bit more sense. But now we're looking at Hillary, and finally, well, not finally, but yet again, we're finally rolling over some repercussions from previous episodes. Because a lot of times there is none of that. We're still waiting on what happened to Rashawn. We're still waiting on that. But Hillary is now going through some things. She's now regretting some decisions she made, trying to be this online influencer. And then she realizes that, maybe she's not in control of her her brand. She's not as in control of her brand as she thinks she is, because now she's got some semi-nude stuff on the internet trying to be risque with her content. I love this part of the show. Because, like I said, Hillary is the relevancy. She's the now about the show, as far as teenagers today and kids and younger adults who are trying to be in this social media lifestyle and career path, and the horrors or the reality of the business side of social media is being exposed. And I think that it's the same way they used to do with the music career, the music game, and the same way they did with the movie and the dancing. How many dance movies did we get that were like exploiting, that career choice? Yeah. So now we're getting some real, because these are things that honestly, as a content creator myself, I didn't really think about in the forefront of my mind, because I never have to worry about that because I'm independent and I worry about, what I'm doing. But I thought it was a good take. What did you think?
No, I thought it was great, because here is the purpose. So we almost talked about it before, right? Everything that she thinks she's doing because she wants to be independent is actually feeding into all of the stuff that Aunt Viv told her to be careful about. Right? Because she thinks she's being independent, right?
Yep.
And her independence is one that she holds tight. She wants to be who she is. That's why she didn't take the other job, because she wants her brand to be what she is. But once you move into an influencer house that is run by one person, you've given away that liberty. So she inadvertently did exactly what she didn't want to do.
So she traded one house mother for another.
She traded one house mother for another. She traded one element of control for another element of control. Now it could be something that works to her benefit on the back end, because we all know that no news is bad news, right? So anytime you're in the news or anytime you're making headlines, a lot of times, especially in this creator world, it's gold. But that comes with a cost, that comes with a price, and she's finding out.
And I love how they allude to, like, listen, there is fast money to be made in the influencer
Big
game.
money. Big
Like, y'all don't even, like, for I know some of y'all may know, but for some of y'all that don't know, like, there are some successful YouTubers, some successful Instagrammers, some successful TikTokers who don't ever have to worry about another bill or cost in their lives off
ever.
of one deal. Off of one deal. So I love how they show that balance of, she loses herself for a moment. And it's kind of weird because she comes from money, but has never been treated as such.
But she comes from money that she didn't make herself.
Facts.
You can tell that she is somebody who wants to stand on her own too. Like, she's not just comfortable being that Hillary Banks that we know from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And
she's her mother's daughter.
Yeah, she is. She's definitely more of her mother's daughter. She has that same entrepreneurial spirit, that same I want to live within my art spirit. And so I think the opportunity to get her own money and to see that it's her own is what's intoxicating to her. And like it probably would with all of us. She lost herself for a second. She had to, like, wait a minute. And so now we're left with this dynamic of saying, okay, what is that number?
Yeah.
Because that's what I kept thinking. Okay, what is the number?
She dropped everything for 10 racks, bro.
10 racks.
She was ready to take all the clothes off. She was like, yo, fuck what you saying, Jazz. They about to give me 10 racks.
and her and Jazz had just had the moment,
Yeah.
They had just had the moment, and I like I said, I fucks with it because I feel like the way that they're developing Jazz is something that is really cool. It's not he's not just there to be some comic relief. Like, Jazz has depth to him already.
Yeah.
And I like that. I like the fact that it's almost the antithesis of the way Jazz and Hillary were in the Fresh Prince, the way they are. Whereas Hillary was totally okay just living off of daddy's money. This Hillary is not. Whereas Jazz was just, why Hillary was repulsed by Jazz in the story. I mean, in the Fresh Prince here, you can see that there's qualities about Jazz that she really likes. Yeah. Most likely the fact that he's willing to get it himself, the same way that she's willing to get it herself. I think that she probably feels a kinship to Jazz because of that, and that's what's dope.
And the weird thing that's, like, really shining through is that Jazz ain't, like, he's not Will's sidekick, bro. Like,
nah.
They didn't talk that entire episode.
Nah.
They didn't even share a scene together for that, what I remember.
He's there to help if needed, but he is not there at Will's, like, he's there for Will, but he's not there to just be.
I don't even see him. I don't even see him there for, like, when was the last time we saw them together? When they were at the record store. That was literally the last time.
Hey, and here's the question. How old is Jazz? Like,
yeah, because
is Jazz really more Hillary's age?
So already graduated.
Yeah, because that's what it feels like. It feels like Jazz is on the same level with Hillary, not with Will and Carlton. So he's more like a big cousin.
These are things that bother me because with all the shit that they're giving us, the too much shit that they're giving us, we have things like this. Like, who is Jazz?
And they completely wrote Ashley out of the entire episode.
Oh yeah, Ashley's not. Yeah, my man Sean said
in Big Bear. It's okay. She's in Big Bear.
My man Sean Schwabi said it best. He was like, "Yo, where was Ash this episode? Like, she's only been in like 30% of the season, and when they do show her, she's not saying anything. She's just sitting at the table, not doing anything, or that's it." We only got like 1 episode and a half of Ashley, but I want to move on to because we were talking about how Hillary is her mother's daughter, like, straight up, and that leads us into, like, there's trouble in paradise. but we've seen this thing brewing since about episode 2, I want to say, where Viv, she's ready to fly, man. Like she's one nudge away from falling over the edge and just flying away. What it feels like. And Phil is not helping the situation by trying to be the man of the house. So, that's what I feel like. He's like overly trying to be the provider, which is cool. There's a lot of providers out there. But the situation with him and the money and not telling her about the money, like, I get it, it's his campaign, but he's shutting her out. He's spending money without even consulting his wife. You know, yo, listen, this guy's digging his own grave. He's digging his own grave.
I think it's interesting because I don't think that there's I think that what Viv is experiencing is very on par with what a lot of women that are in relationships who have made sacrifices for the betterment of the family feel.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is an homage to all of those women out there who've had to sacrifice their dreams and the things that they wanted to do because they wanted to make sure that their family was good and they wanted to support the man that they married.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that this is a story that's going to resonate with a lot of mothers out there. And it's going to make a lot of mothers and maybe those women who did go out and do those things despite really not like Phil. But Phil has always been, Uncle Phil has always been the person that is easy to get down on, right? Even back to the old show. And I know I make a lot of alludes to the old show, but you have to, because clearly they're moving in a way that tells you they want to take some spirit from the old show and bring it here. Uncle Phil was always the guy people were getting upset with. Uncle Phil was always the guy that people had a problem with. But ultimately, what people realized, and what I think we'll come to know and understand about Phil, is even if he doesn't make all the right decisions, his heart is in the right place. I think that's the thing that's going to save him in the end, is that his heart's in the right place. I could be wrong because you've seen 8 and you told me 8's a banger. So I don't know.
Listen, boy, I'll give a little recap of why I think. Nah, you know what? I'm going to save it for next week.
Yeah.
I don't want to tell nobody.
Don't do me like that. I'm just anxiously awaiting next Thursday morning.
Yeah. So I mean, I hear what you're saying about Phil. I don't feel that yet. I don't see it yet. I'm still wondering. A lot of these characters in this show, I'm still wondering where they're gonna fall. How is that last episode going to tie this thing up and wrap it up? I can't figure it out yet. Like, I'm
somebody
still.
Get killed.
Yeah, I thought that too, but who I thought was gonna get killed isn't somebody that anybody would probably care about.
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna. I think that if anybody was to die, it's gonna be Trey.
See, I think Lisa's gonna get killed.
Lisa, nah, bro, nah. Lisa's not gonna get killed.
Yeah, man.
Nah. They wouldn't do that to themselves. Nah.
You can't have Will booed up for the whole Fresh Prince.
I see a breakup before I see that. I see. You know what I see? This is how I would write it. And we're getting ahead of ourselves, but I don't care. Let's talk about it. We got an hour.
We're predicting.
Yeah, we got speculating. All right, so I see Carlton going over the edge because of other things, including this relationship, and them feeling like it ain't healthy to pursue it for the sake of Carlton.
Nah, that's too PG, bro. Sorry, that is way too. Just another teen movie. You went way too far into your teen movie bag on that.
I feel like that's a clean way to do it. Like,
but this is a drama, right?
But these two have been dictating their relationship around Carlton since the beginning of the whole thing. Even this episode, they're like walking on eggshells to not upset him, and I feel like it's gonna take something dramatic, like Carlton maybe almost taking his life. Or maybe, like, you know what I mean? And then they're going to be like, well, we need to kind of just chill out for a little bit. Not saying it's going to be done for good, but there's going to be a cat. This only works if there's cat and mouse. You never put the couple together first season. You never put the couple together. Look at Friends, bro. How long it take for Chandler and Shorty to get together, bro? You never put the couple together like solid
romantic comedy, though, right?
Yeah.
This is a drama,
bro. But it works like that. Look at Insecure. They broke up the couple.
Comedy,
and then Insecure is not really comedy, bro.
It's comedy.
It's not really comedy.
How much were you laughing during Insecure? Like, I stayed laughing during Insecure.
I mean, but I'm just saying, like, they always, if the couple's together in the beginning, they separate and then they work back together. Or it takes them a long time to get together, finally.
How do you bring Philly to LA? Or to Bel-Air? At some point, you got to bring Philly to Bel-Air, right?
I'm not going to say anything.
I'm
not going to say anything.
You know what?
Next topic. Next topic. Next topic.
I'm too good at this, I'm too good at this.
Where we at? We are okay. My man Jeffrey's back. My man Jeffrey. Doing what Jeffrey does. Snooping, digging up his dirt on Michael Ealy. Michael, that's his name. We gonna call Michael Ealy. Michael Ealy, because the creepiest man in Bel-Air. I don't like that we don't get a lot of Jeffrey. It's always on some servant shit. He just pops in, he's got the file, and then he dips into the shadows like the Batman.
With a smooth ass suit on. Like with a fly ass suit on, though. Like, he's dipping in and out super fly.
Because I get excited when I see Jeffrey. Yeah, man. Jeffrey ex-CIA, man. He gotta be something, bro. Yo, I get excited. I get excited.
What happens when we get the Jeffrey scene, though? Because it's coming, right? Where we get a chance to kind of see what Jeffrey does. Like, it's got to be coming. What happens when we get that scene? Like, what are we going to see? Because to me, it's just too simple right now. He's in and out. He's got all the answers. How is he getting the answers? What's he doing with the information? Like, is he involved in the campaign? Anyway, see, up until now, the campaign has been clean. Right?
Yeah.
Does Jeffrey start to play a role in something that needs to be done for the campaign? Does Phil's hands and Jeffrey's hands get dirty before they get clean? That's what I want to know.
We got to answer this question because my man Sean saying, how do we call Michael Ealy Creepy McCreeperton? Man, this dude from day one, since he had laid his eyes on Aunt Viv, this guy looks like he literally wants to take a spoon and just eat a chunk of her skin. Like the way he talks to her, the way which we're gonna talk about in this, because this episode, I'm still confused on his agenda. Like, you know, Jeffrey does his thing. He finds out his information, makes Phil a little nervous now. Now he's gotta get into his, you know, insecure man stance and try to save his marriage. You know, he got to swoop in and play Superman because he's feeling a little insecure. And, you know, Michael Ealy is there doing what he does, sniffing the air that Vivian breathes, talking to her about her art. But I can't gauge it because Phil shows up and he puts his foot down, but Mike kind of just plays it cool. Like, bro, I'm interested in the art. Like, what do you believe him? Do you expect to see? Is he just that kind of artistic guy?
No, he's not. He's totally creeping.
Think he's creeping?
Right? And if they make him just that guy, then that's a corny ass way to go out.
So you think they almost gotta go there and almost have Viv?
See, so here's why, right?
Yeah.
If you're going to to bring in the fact that the guy is creepy. You write him creepy. Then you give evidence to the creepiness in the fact that there has been other up and coming artists that he has manipulated and then bedded. Like, so you set the thing. That means that there's been times where he's done this and he's been met by a husband. So he probably knows how to play it off. He probably I'll give you the analogy. I've had situations in my time where I may have come up on a young lady who had a significant other, and then the significant other popped up, and to try to save her from having to deal with the drama, I just acted like the homeboy.
That's some real shit.
I just acted like the homeboy. It is what it is. I ain't even take no diss to it. When she acted like I wasn't there, when she didn't acknowledge I was in the, it's cool. because I know what my ultimate goal was. My ultimate goal is to be in them sheets. So if his ultimate goal is to be in them sheets, and he looks out for her and he keeps it a buck, where she doesn't have to like feel as if her art wasn't valued, because now he's exposed the fact that he is really trying to get in them panties. Guess what? Now that further puts the hook in, right? Now he's got the hook in a little bit further. She said, well, her quote was, "I love the way he's so passionate about my art, and that makes me want to be around him." Well, guess what? If you take an interest in a woman's career, in a woman's art, and she wants to be around you for that, it's only a matter of time. If you look like Michael Ealy, that is going to be some drinks flowing and things happening, and now all of a sudden you mad at Phil because Phil spent more of the money. So if Phil don't show up that week, what happens?
Listen, drinks flowing and sperm floating. Listen,
hey.
Phil did two things wrong, right?
Dude.
Phil did two things wrong, right? One, he showed up. Don't do that, bro. Two, hold up. Hear me out. Let me finish.
Okay.
He showed up, and two, he let everyone see his jealousy in front of his wife, in front of the guy he's accusing. Like, if anything, that right there was the reason the conversation. And I love that scene, by the way, when they go back to the hotel and they have that conversation. That was like some real shit. Like the conversations that married folk need to have, or couples need to have, where they open up to one another and they talk about their sacrifices that they feel like they've met. And at that point, it was already too late for Phil. Even if he kissed the ground that she walked on and worshipped everything awesome about her, she already had her mind made up. She wanted to be there, and she wanted to be there without him. She needed that space to just be her. And I understood that. When you were saying you related to the other situation as an artist, as a creative, I understood that sometimes it's not about the other person. It's not about the individual. It's not about what we got going on. It's just that I need to be in my space, in my thing, and do my thing without having to worry about that, because that's my escape. That's what keeps my peace. Like I'll go to the, you know what I mean? Like I go to the movie theater alone because I just need to escape reality sometimes, and I don't want a friend there with me.
I don't need other people there. I want to be able to consume it. I mean, we cut from the same cloth, Klepcx, so I understand what you're saying, right?
So I feel like he was pushing too much.
Here's where I think I agree with you on your second point, right? I think he messed up by showing his hand. But I think that showing up there was a G move if he had played the supportive wife role.
And then just left.
And just, I wanted you to know none of that. Because remember how he set it up. Look, I canceled all those meetings. because none of those matter, because I want to be here to support you, right? So he shows up, plays the supportive wife role, lets Money know, look, I'm here. I'm here. And then he could have bounced. He could have showed up just to show the support. Hey, listen.
That's what I would have did.
I don't even want to stay in your space. I know you're trying to do something special. I really just wanted you to know how much I support you and how much I think that what you're doing matters. I didn't want to just say it and leave it how we left it. I really wanted you to understand. These meetings are off the table. Hillary's got the boys. Ashley doesn't exist. You know, all of that good stuff. I'm here for you if you need me. So I'm leaving because you got it. But if you need me to, I'm right back in the car, right back up here again.
Or he could have just said, "Do your thing. I'll meet you at the room." You know what I mean? He didn't have. He didn't.
He could have played it. The way he messed up was when he showed his hand that he was jealous. Like he didn't have to call out. He didn't have to call out Ealy. He could have left it where Ealy didn't know that he knew. You know, because now once you show your hand, you give him a chance to counter. I don't want him to have no chance to counter. I want him to show his hand to my woman, so my woman know he about the foulness.
Let it come out on its own.
Opportunity.
And like my man Kevin's saying, he's like, be there for her like she's being there for him in his campaign. Absolutely, 1,000%, bro. And this is what I was talking about. Like Phil's coming off like an arrogant prick who's not paying attention to his family and how what he's got going on is affecting them, or not even how it's affecting them, but what they're going through while he's focused on this campaign that, quite frankly, doesn't seem like it means anything at this point because they haven't shown us any reason why it should matter. You got two black guys running for the same position with no real obstacle as to why it's important for either of them to have this position. For all we know, it's just a political run. We don't know why or what the issues are or what they're trying to save or why it matters if Phil is or why it matters if this guy is. But that's another topic. We'll talk about that. But while all of this stuff is going on between Phil and Viv and Michael Ealy, and you know, she finds herself in that moment and tells him, you know, just go home. And then she continues her evening. While this is all going on, we have a party back at the house. Now, this party stems from some stuff that happens earlier in the episode where Carlton kind of grows some hair on his balls and just kind of gets fed up with his boy Connor and serves him on the lacrosse field. That was a proud moment for me, bro. I'm not gonna lie.
Real proud.
That was a moment.
I literally stood up. I stood up out the seat. It was like, yes.
I was like, yo, fun. And it wasn't even about him just kind of standing up about the racist stuff. It was just about him just kind of like stop being a follower. Like all the shit that's going is just building up inside of him, and he's just like, you know what? Like I'm standing alone right now. And then the comment that Connor makes about, you know, he can't, something about we can't take all the sports from them or some shit like that.
I guess they haven't taken all of the sports from us.
Yeah. So shout out to Carlton for that shit. And then, you know, Will, he's feeling down because he feels like, you know, I just pushed the most popular guy in school. Now no one's gonna fuck with me. I don't know friends. And of course, because Will comes and saves the day and says, listen, yo, brush that shit off. I know what we're going to do. We're going to throw a party. Listen, every good episode, every good high school episode, there's always a party. And
have a party in there, right?
Sometimes they always end in drama. Most of the time they end in drama, actually. Now that I think about it, if I go back and think of all the teen television shows that had an awkward party, there was always some drama. All the way back to Family Matters when Urkel got drunk and almost jumped off the building. Degrassi where JT got murdered. Like I can go on.
Look, I mean Donna Martin getting drunk before prom at the party, the pre-party, almost not being able to graduate. Every teen movie that has that seminal party has a drunken moment at the party when there's a big reveal.
Yeah. So in this one we get Carlton's having a good time. He's mixing and mingling with kids he would have never normally chilled with. Everyone's accepting him. There's no problem. And then his homies show up, and he's a bit taken back, and he's thinking, "Oh, damn, this dude's here. How's this gonna go?" And quite frankly, everybody kind of has his back. Everybody's tired of Connor shit. Everybody was just kind of waiting on someone like Carlton to step up and say, "Dude, chill the fuck out." So I appreciated that moment. But every time there's a moment where there's a high moment, of course, there's always got to be a low moment in the drama to knock the fuck out of you and be like, damn, Carlton was in a good place. Because your man Will is upstairs smashing, doing the most. Doing the most business. Smashing it with Lisa
and
behind
Carlton's back. And for the record, that's way too soon.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's way too soon, but come on, we're episode 7, man. We got 3 more left.
Hypers, and like I said, the hyper speed of teenagers now, that's on par. But as far as the cat and mouse game that you were talking about, I don't know.
I feel like they're using Carlton as the cat and mouse.
Hey, and so here's my thing. Did she let Carlton smash?
Of course she probably did, bro.
I'm just saying they were sophomores.
Oh,
she
that's
let
true.
Carlton smash.
That is true. Maybe they didn't.
Maybe
she didn't though.
But maybe she did. And if that's the case, you smacked cousins.
Listen, the whole situation is weird to me, bro. Like I don't like it. I don't like it. And they're romanticizing this whole situation like Will and Lisa, like, no, bro. Like she literally was dating your cousin before you were even a thought. Yeah. Like you weren't even like
code at.
And Will came into the picture like he didn't even care. Like he's like, I'm bagging that. Even after he found out, it was still like, yeah. And I agree with what Kevin said. Kevin's saying that the backlash is going to come when Lisa finds out the truth about Will's past. But I honestly don't think that's because they're kind of on the same wavelength as far as where they're from. So I think either maybe Carlton will tell her or the dad will find out. I think the backlash will be when Lisa's dad finds out, and that may hurt Phil's campaign. I think it's going to be bigger than just, she finds out and Will and her just break up. I think everyone finding out is going to be the big crash.
So my question then becomes, when everybody finds out what happened, what's the real problem?
Well, Phil bent the law for him to come.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like, is the problem really a problem for Will, or is the problem really a problem for Phil?
Well, because it's a problem. It's a problem.
You can't blame Will for what Will did.
You can't, but the dad can. The dad can say, Lisa, I forbid you to see this gangster. And then that's a breakup right there, a breakup moment.
Because that only brings them closer together.
Yeah, I know that. We know what would be written. We know what can happen. But for the average person watching, this is a dramatic spin that will have people like, oh no, Will and Lisa can't be together. You know what I mean? So yeah, you know that we've seen this before. You know what I mean? This is not new writing.
This is writing 101.
Yeah, this is like you're watching The Outsiders or something. You know, they tell, I don't want you dating that greaser. Kev made it. He dropped an interesting point. Will Will go back to jail?
Well, that's an interesting point, because if you feel as if Phil broke the law, but we don't really even know how Phil twisted or bent the law.
Well, he made a call to a lawyer and said, ship him out.
I know, but my point is how is that illegal?
Well, all right, look at it like this.
So that's what we don't know. We don't know how it. That's what I'm saying. We don't know.
But I mean, it's kind of plain and simple. Like, it's not his jurisdiction. Will has an open case, a gun charge at that, which is automatic in some places. You're automatically getting years. So one phone call and then old boy gets shipped off to another state. Like, that's pretty dirty.
They're saying that all of the stuff has disappeared. Like, ain't no charges no more.
Did they though?
Yeah, because Will was about to go back to Philly.
Okay, so look at it like this though. So in the campaign itself, though, if that gets out, he's already going to get disqualified.
Because he uses his influence to.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's using his influence to help his family.
I just don't know how it hurts Will.
It hurts Will because it hurts everyone around him. It makes him, the leper. It makes him the outcast. Like, if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't be in this shit.
How about this? This? Are we looking at Bel-Air wrong? Is Bel-Air more of an ensemble show and not a show about Will Smith?
Now, when you say that,
right?
I'll keep it quiet.
Have we been looking at this thing wrong the entire time? Because remember, Bel-Air is not the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was about one person's story, and all of these stories revolved around that one person's story. In Bel-Air, it seems to legitimately be set up very similar to, and I know I keep going back to it, but this gives me hella 90210 vibes. And that's why I keep, like, it's an ensemble. It's not about one person. It's about the entire group. And that's why we're getting all of these dynamics thrown at us at once, is because it's not supposed to be about one person. It's not supposed to be about Dylan and Brenda or, like Brandon and, like, no.
Bro, the fact that you can name every character or most of the characters from 90210, that's wild.
First off, I'm kind of showing my age, number one. I was a kid, like a kid when that came out.
I'm the same way with Degrassi, so
it's not the only one I can do that too. Yeah. So let's be real about it. I can't act like that's the only one I know.
If we're talking about white shows, my white show is Degrassi. I can name every character.
Yeah.
First real name and character name.
Yeah. That's me with 90210. Your Degrassi is 90210 for sure.
So okay, no, you make a great point because, like I said, you're. I see. I'm trying to stay away from it.
Yeah, I feel like I'm all around 8 right now.
Yeah. You're not far. You're not far off. But that's exactly how I felt after 8. I will give you that. Okay. I literally was like, you know what? This is the most
not Will's story.
Yeah, I'm not gonna give my 2 cents yet. Next week, guys, you gotta wait for it next week. I'm gonna give you your expectations on Wednesday, and I'm gonna give you my full live for spoiler talk with my man right here on 8. But I guarantee you, it's worth the talk. Capping off because we're getting to the end of this episode. This was kind of like I kind of rolled my eyes when the whole Connor called the police on Carlton, and of course they show up to the mansion, and it's like, come on. First of all, how did the police not know who the Banks are? The black family that lives in Bel-Air.
The black police, family that lives in a giant mansion in Bel-Air.
The police don't know who the Banks are. They don't. First of all,
and by the way, Philip Banks is only running for the DA.
Thank you. And then not only that, Connor had to have called the cops, and they had to have said it's at such and such residence, which such and such lives here. Like, they're not just going to send cops somewhere where they don't know who lives there. So that was, although they meant well, bullshit is what I'm calling.
Oh yeah,
and I literally rolled my eyes when I heard when I saw the text message. I was like,
you knew what it was.
I was like, Connor's about to call the cops. Like, are you kidding me right now? So what you're telling me is that you just call the cops are going to show up to a mansion and just assume that the black guy doesn't belong there? From what I saw, that party was pretty diverse.
Yep.
Pretty diverse. So, yeah, man. Come on, man. Y'all got to do better. Y'all got to do better with the writing, man. Like, we're in 2022, and if you're still writing that kind of shit, I can't get behind that. I love the show, and I like some of the dynamics of it, but there's a lot of shit in it that I can't rock with. And then, baby girl, daughter comes down, she's got a dad on the phone, and it's like, here, my dad wants to talk to you, and then it's all cool. It's just, man, it's just, I don't know, man. Like,
yeah, it was number one, it was low-hanging fruit. Let's start there. It was low-hanging fruit. You got to be better with the writing on that. I'm not saying that it wouldn't happen. I'm just saying
that at all.
I'm just saying that it wouldn't happen in that situation. There's just way too many variables that the police would have known about before they ever went to that man's house. This is a guy running for the district attorney, which means that as a lawyer, he has had intimate relationships with the police force.
Yeah.
He is friends with the man.
Yeah.
Whose daughter's at the party. Like, come on. Now, the fact that Connor was willing to do this, and we, by the way, we didn't touch on this, but I think this was something that was dope. Is when Carlton was talking to the young lady, and he asked, and she said, "Oh, you're different than what we thought of you." And he's like, "Well, tell me what you think." And she was like, "Nah, I ain't gonna do it." And he says, "No, tell me." And then she let him know. But what I definitely have been saying from the beginning, which is
what the audience always thinks of Carlton.
Yeah, bro, you a flat out Uncle Tom, bro.
Yeah, that was cool. Well,
and it's crazy too. It's crazy because it's almost like when he heard it from Will, it's like, no, Will's just hating.
Mm-hmm.
But when you hear it from a girl you vibing with, who's still vibing with you, even though this is what you've been known as, that's gotta hit home, homie. And that's why he got up and walked away, because I felt like he felt embarrassed.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not like upset at her, but more like, damn.
And what was cool, what was cool about it is like his he switched sides. Because for the longest, remember when Will called out him for, using the N-word, and the white Connor was using the N-word, he stood up and defended Connor to fit in with Connor. But then at the party, when he had no one, he stood up and defended himself and gained the respect of her. So Absolutely. It was like he changed. Like, listen, what they did with Carlton this episode was so dope, so brilliant. Overall, I think this episode, it really followed Vivian, Hillary, and a lot of Carlton low key, which was fine. Like, it was 3 characters that really got flushed out, and I thought it was dope. We still don't know what's going on with Jeffrey. I'm still like, what's up with
you
Phil?
Want to know so bad what's
Bro,
up with
everybody, the whole world wants to know what's up with Jeffrey. My man Sean wants to know what's up with Jeffrey. Everybody wants to know what's up with Jeffrey, bro. And where the hell is Ashley? Like, does this girl not live at the house? Does this girl not live at the house or what? Like, I don't know, man, but I thought it was overall was a solid episode, man. That one little thing at the end, though, with the police rubbed me the wrong way. Did you catch the Easter egg, though? I was asking everybody if they caught that Easter egg during the party.
You mean
There's actually 2. There's actually 2 Easter eggs. One of them I'll give you. One of them was I don't remember her name. Lisa's real name. That was from the episode when she revealed to Will what her real name was. It was a funny name, and she didn't want people to know the name. I don't remember that one. But then there was a second Easter egg during the party. You talked about the moment, but I'm wondering how well you were paying attention.
You mean the Black Student Union? Or the Black Student
Nope.
Oh gosh.
Beulah. That's right. That was her name, Beulah.
Yeah, yeah.
Whatchamacallit?
I'm missing.
You nailed it. You brought me back to it because I almost forgot that part, and I was like, oh yeah, that's right, that part. But during that part, there was an Easter egg that a lot of people may have
Oh,
caught.
on the phone.
Yes,
The dance.
yes.
Yo,
Yes.
yo, that
Yes.
was hilarious. I was like,
Yeah.
oh,
He's like that's my favorite dance right
that's
there.
my
Shorty doing
favorite dance. And he was
that.
doing, and she was doing
Yeah.
the motion. No, that was fantastic. That was
Yeah.
fantastic.
Great placement for that too. Like I didn't
They
even
really wrote
expect.
him well. Maybe they spent all of their writing power in writing that arc for him in the story, and they kind of like let some other things be a little less put together because they really did a dope job.
I'm not gonna lie, he really is probably the best written character. He made me hate him from the beginning. Um and now I'm kind of like I want to see where this goes.
Yo, he's the best written character on the show for sure.
Him and
And
Jeffrey.
and fair enough because he's got the most dynamic. Like
Yeah,
I don't even think I think the part that they didn't get right, my one biggest gripe, right? They made Will way too amenable to Bel-Air.
Yeah, too fast.
His
Too
roughness,
quick.
like there is no Philly that he had to get off of him.
Yeah, in the beginning, first 3 episodes. This is why I feel like the pilot episodes, the first 3 episodes, feel like they were done separately. I feel like that was the premise that they were gonna build off of. But those 3 episodes are solid as fuck, and then it gets into this.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
but even then, like, so he was just kind of super like, like it didn't have that Philly gruff on it. Like I know dudes from Philly.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Shit, even
I know
speech.
Hoopers. I know Hoopers from Philly.
Yeah.
And it didn't have enough of like it was just way too easy for that exterior to shed off. And it's like, yo, you don't just get rid of where you from like that. Like you don't just shed that super quick and now all of a sudden you corny like, you know what I'm saying? Or you got this kind of like same level of hokey as some of the other people who've grown up in that.
Mm-hmm.
I even look at myself in the way I grew up. I still find myself falling back into some of the dialect and into some of the actions and the way in which I would respond to things because of how I grew up. Like AK pop out way too much still. Like it's way too much of that dude still rolling around here for me to be a well-educated 42-year-old man. Like I don't understand how he was able to downshift. And I feel like they actually missed out on showing a transformation that they could have had like somewhere around episode 4, 5, 6, where he really started to understand, hey, listen, it's okay for me to shed off this because there's these other things out here and I can let people see these other sides of me. It was just too quick to shed the Philly for me. That's my one biggest gripe with the way they wrote Will. But again, if this isn't a show about Will Smith, if this is really a show about the ensemble, then okay, I'm cool with it.
And on that note, I think those questions will be answered in the future. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Whether or not it is or is not a Will Smith story or a Smith and Banks story. And before we get out of here, because we got to wrap it up, guys, I want to thank every single one of you guys for joining in with us every week. We will be doing the same thing again next week, every Thursday, 9:15 Eastern Time PM. We do the live spoiler discussion, but before the live discussion, every Wednesday, I drop my non-spoiler review for the episode so that you guys can get a gist of what to expect in this episode. And I'm telling you, next week, y'all don't want to miss next week. I'm telling you, it's going to be a real fun topic. We might have to get like one more person up in here to talk with us or something, man, because it's going to be some good stuff.
Yo,
My man Gene,
I'm geek. I'm geek, bro.
Let them know where they can find you, man.
Hey, man, you can find me on all the socials at Gene Clemens. Go out and go ahead and subscribe to the channel, man. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Coach Gene Clemens. If any of y'all are in the sports, especially in the football, basketball, anything of that nature, you can find me there.
Yes, sir. And shout out to my man Kevin, man. I see you. And shout out to Sean for rocking with us the whole time. You guys been in the chat, just doing your thing and chiming in. I appreciate that. Love the support. And you guys, of course, follow me, subscribe. Let everybody know to come to this channel, man. Subscribe to Klepcx on YouTube. You can find me on all platforms under Klepcx. I keep it simple for everybody. You can find me everywhere: Twitter, Instagram, you name it, Snapchat, TikTok, everywhere. I'm Klepcx. And again, I just want to thank all you guys for coming out here and showing love and showing support. And we will see you guys next week. Same time, same channel. Peace. Oh, and for more movie news and television news, guys, check out wearecritics.com. That's my company. We Are Critics. Every day we are dropping news, current news about movies and television that's coming out, and even reviews. So guys, make sure you check that out. And I will talk to you all later. Peace.